we never set out with what kind of influences we were inspired by or what kind of
Mm,
sounds we were into. We really just got together and jammed and let
mm,
it flow.
mm-hmm.
And I was just like so impressed because like we're just jamming, but they're flowing from verse to chorus to interlude, like without even saying anything or even looking at each other. It was just like this feeling. So I think whatever the sound we've created has just really like been channeled through all of us coming together really organically.
Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, Chris. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 551 of the podcast. September flew by, right? Not just me. I feel like once my birthday happens, then that's it. Sorry for all the other individuals who have birthdays at the tail end of September, but still, this month really flew by, and I hope you all are doing well, and be sure to check out castingfor2.com, where you can find out where this podcast is, or have links to where this podcast is posted, buy some swag, join the Discord, all that good stuff. Castingfor2.com. Still think I have my headphone code link thingy on there, so yeah, but I have a phenomenal episode for you all today. My guest is a phenomenal musician, writer, singer, individual. Alisa Saario of the band FREQz is on the podcast. And we had a great time. We had a great chat. Very, spoilers, we have low brass roots, so that's always nice. Alisa is I had a great time. And you know what? I need to stop talking because now I'm just rambling. We need to get into this episode. So everybody sit back, relax, and Alisa, take it away. I used to ask this way back in the early days, but I feel like it's pretty relevant right now. How much sleep do you need a night, and how much are you actually getting?
You know what? I still haven't like grown out of my teenager years. I
Mm,
think I need like a solid 10.
gotcha. Okay. I feel like 10 is fair though.
Yeah, I think, honestly, like I'm pretty good about getting like 8 to 10, but the last 2 nights I've been waking up at like 6 a.m., which is so out of character for me.
Yeah.
Um, and that's been like 6 hours, which is
Ah,
which is it's not good for me.
yeah, no, I get that. It's I if I could go to sleep early, I would. And my girlfriend and I usually like to go to sleep at the same time.
Hmm.
So it's around, like 9 o'clock, which still, yeah, it's not that bad. But she
So
wakes up
practically like that.
right, but she wakes up early, which then I wake up early. So it's just kind of a thing that, okay, all right, I guess I'm up. So it's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay.
Oh man, you're a good partner. I don't know if
It's
I have a person.
and I back in the day, way back in the day, like almost a year ago, so far back in the day, I used to take naps when I was sleepy or during my lunch hour or whatever.
Hmm.
But now that I have a dog, she doesn't let me sleep. She's like, "No, if you're not working, you're gonna play with me. So let's go.
She
Let's."
better she better be cute.
Oh, she's so cute, and I can't say no to her. She's a rescue dog, and her story is just so filled with who knows what and mistreatment. And then when we got her, it's just like, okay, well, obviously you're going to be treated like a princess because now different lifestyle. So yeah, when she looks at me, it's like, okay, well, We're hanging out. Okay, I get you.
We're
Uh,
making up for lost time.
exactly. There will be hours where, if I finish work and I just don't have anything to do, I'll just go and pet her for like an hour or two, just nonstop. Like I'm just going because, you know,
Oh,
I got she deserves it. So
yeah. Who's saved who? At the end of the day.
eggs. Oh my gosh, yes, exactly. So
Some
and
good loving, some good therapy from that. What kind of dog is she? I know she probably a lot of different kinds, but
yeah, so she's primarily a beagle, with a
oh,
little hound in her.
oh,
Um,
prep.
so yeah, and she like I remember it's Monday was our first year of having her. So it was already kind of an emotional week because we're just like, oh, we love you. But we do, like, she's my best buddy. Whenever I'm editing or doing something, she'll just come up and just like chill next to me and hang out, and I'm just like, I ask her for editing advice. Um, so if videos are really good, it's because of her.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I hope you put her in the credits.
If there were credits, yes, which I realize I could fully just do that because I have all the power, but whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
as long
I
as she's.
exact, yeah, I don't even give myself credit, so it's all good. Um, but so as you can see, this is a pretty loose show where we can talk about anything that we want. But I'm very curious. I would love to know when you got bit by the music bug.
Gosh, I I think my earliest memory is maybe like when I was 7 years old,
Mm,
and I don't know what I saw, but I really I think I must have seen some sort of video with like a hoedown country fiddler just like
mm,
ripping on the fiddle, and I was like, I just want to do that. Like I just like want to be like, just like absolutely ripping on a fiddle on a violin. So my mom got me violin lessons, but then it was like, learning how to play hot cross buns
yeah.
for weeks. And I did a show and tell, and my best friend was like, "Oh, that sounds squeaky." And I kind of like abandoned my music dreams
Mm,
for a few years. But then later in like sixth grade, we had to choose between choir and band.
yeah.
And I chose band and I wanted to play clarinet like everybody else
Oh, okay.
there.
Okay.
But then, so the band instructor was like, you guys can't all play clarinet, and kind of did a little tour of all the instruments that were available. And he pulled out baritone tuba
Oh,
and he
yes.
was like, Girls don't usually play this." And I said, well, fuck you. I guess I am
Yeah.
going to play.
Yeah. First off, how dare you?
Yeah. And like, so I'll show you. So yeah, so then I really fell in love with the low end and bass frequencies, and I really enjoyed playing baritone tuba. I still play it to this day. It's a really cool instrument.
Hmm.
And it's really fun to break out at parties. Um, and then I befriended my good friend Leah, who was in the percussion section,
Mm,
and she was starting she wanted to start a rock band with her and this other girl, Jackie. So I was like, well, I'll play bass. And yeah, we started our cute little girl pop punk band when we were like 12 years old. And like I was hooked ever since then. And I've really been playing music ever since.
yeah.
And yeah, so that was, so now that's like what, 24 years later.
Yeah.
Um, and then with this recent project, Freaks, which is, kind of one of the reasons why I'm chatting with you today, we got together maybe like 3 years ago, and yeah, I think it's really like validates this musical journey,
Hmm.
and like finally finding a project where really making music that I love to play and listen to, and is like the collaboration of it all is just, yeah. So so validating for putting all this time and energy and money into something to have something that, brings such joy into my life.
And do you ever break out the baritone in for freaks? Not yet, or
Yeah, yeah. We like to, when we have time to just like jam and work on new material, we'll spend all like maybe like 8 hours in the
Hmm,
rehearsal room, like with food breaks, of course, but
yeah.
like we get weird at night and stuff. So I brought my baritone tuba, and like we were kind of it was towards the end of the session, and I was like, oh, I forgot to bust out the baritone tuba. And so I just like kind of like I was pretty loose at that point. And we just kind of recorded some random stuff, but and just layered it. And that's actually, and then it's a sample on this new song we're working on, and we're gonna record in July. So, and it's like so chaotic and kind of like I don't know, like I was like I almost want to try to recreate it, but there's so many layers and so many random like atonal
Hmm.
like layering of the frequencies that I don't think it's possible to recreate. So it's just I think that's going to be what we use.
Gotcha. It's so there's so much that I would love to talk about. Just uh as far as the fiddle stuff and hearing that and going crazy, I wish maybe there was for you, but for me, when I saw somebody like really enjoying an instrument like that, I was just like, I want to do that. But of course, there is oh, I have to learn how to play that. Why can't we
Hmm.
just cut to the going crazy and it sounding cool part?
Yeah.
Like, uh, I wouldn't know how to play guitar, but all I could do is guitar solos. Like that would be fine with me if I could magically do that. Um, but
I know that make it look so easy.
yes, it's like, oh, we've only been playing this instrument for like 40 years. It's pretty easy. Like, oh, of course. Um, but and then the clarinet being the hot instrument. When I was going to band, I don't know if it was the hot section, but I wanted to be a percussionist. I like
Hmm.
so bad. I saw my sister go through her high school career, and the drum line was always the coolest. And for me, I feel like it was that primal instinct in me, like have stick will smash. And so I was like, I need to do that. But of course, they had too many. This is what I think. They didn't tell me this, but they said I didn't have any rhythm, which I didn't. I call BS on that.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so
uh,
rude.
it
That's
is
so
because
that's a bit.
I took a rhythm test the first time, and they're like, oh, "Okay, yeah, you did good." And I went, "All right. So
Yeah.
when do I get to play?" And then they made me take it again. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then I tripped up like one little section, and they said, nope, you can't do it. You can't do it. You're not gonna be able to do it. So they said I looked like a tuba player, and they slapped a tuba on me, and that's where I lived for a bit. So as
God.
far as low brass goes, I get you, I hear you. Um,
Mm,
but
that's so funny.
it was, and I had this conversation the other day. No offense to the tuba. No offense. Is it a cool instrument? Yes. Is it a fun instrument? Yes. It's just not what I had my heart set on. And I was talking to a high school friend who we went through band together, and he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, so you still have the tuba?" And in my head, I said, "Man, fuck the tuba. No, I don't. That's not who I am." Because then later I got into percussion and into drums because it turns out I did have rhythm. So
Yeah.
uh,
Nobody, they couldn't stop you.
right, no, and it was kudos to my parents because they saw because I wanted to play the drum set. That was the ultimate goal, and they're like, "Okay, let's get you lessons." I went, "It's that easy? I can just do that?" And then the rest is history from there. But
Uh,
the I was a horrible low brass player. I didn't realize there was more than one scale. I thought everything was B flat.
yeah. That's the classic. That's the go-to.
Exactly. That's why I was just like, okay, everything's B flat. And they're like, oh, so for this one, it's the fourth valve and not 1 and 3. I went, all right. Doesn't
So
matter.
yeah, yeah.
What?
Like each finger, I don't know if the same on two, but like each fingering is like two different notes.
Yes. There's yeah.
I
There.
and I'm like, I can't make sense of it. Like I don't know if the circle of fifths apply. I'm like, somebody call in. Like I need to know.
And we got
But
Tuba
I also
Master.
don't. Yeah. But I'm also like, whatever. But yeah, it's like tuba is just like that's. I mean, obviously the band just needed a tuba player because nobody really wants to play tuba. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way somebody drawn to percussion with pretty good rhythm, from what
Mm.
it sounds like, would play with like a heavy, bassy tuba. Like, you just can't rip on the tuba. I
No.
mean, you can, but like, it's not.
It's
It doesn't like feel good, and I don't
right.
think sounds great. Like,
Tuba is the fart of a band. Like, let's just put it out there.
absolutely,
It's just there.
absolutely.
So, as it was, I've always been a bigger guy, and I'm like, okay, big guy wearing the big instrument. Okay, that's cool, I guess. But yeah, but you mentioned the three valves. Like, I can't even process the like. Oh yeah, of course you play this and you go up and down, but hand me a clarinet. Like, you have so many switches and buttons and doodads. Like, how do you make all those notes with all these options? Like, cut my options down, please.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And the embouchure situation seems tough. And
yeah,
like, you gotta suck on the reeds. Like, all the
yeah.
cool equipment really is like sucking on the reeds for like the first 10 minutes. I was like, God, they look so cool. But in retrospect, I'm like, that also seems really weird.
Yes, and it's just like, oh well, I can't hit this note because this reed is too wet or
Hmm.
too not wet enough or too old. Just there's a chip. It's like, you guys are just you're full of excuses. You
Yeah.
just make all this up. You just can't play
Yeah.
it.
We're
No,
not we're not bitter. We're
yeah,
not
no,
bitter.
no, no.
We're not
Uh,
bitter.
but I, again, low brass roots. I get it. I hear you. Um, I don't think I can play the tuba anymore. I think that knowledge is just gone.
Yeah. Wait, do you still have your tuba?
I do not know. I don't even know where my
Yeah.
mouthpiece is, which I'm kind of bummed about. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, maybe the thing that I guess the biggest thing I miss about playing the tuba is how well my lungs were. I can hold out notes for a long time.
Oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
yeah. I mean, that's
You
like
know,
yeah,
maybe you go swimming instead.
yeah.
But no, that I think it's funny too because the lead singer Nelda
Mm,
in FREQz, she had a similar trajectory of being forced to play tuba like
mm,
her senior year of high school, just because like nobody really wanted to. I think she was a
mm.
flautist
Yes.
originally, and then, had was able to play tuba. So I think that's funny that brings us all together, all brought together through tuba, the
And that
magical,
yeah.
the dark arts of tuba.
Well, and then that's a huge jump from a flute to a tuba. Like
Uh-huh.
being like again, I've never played the flute, but I gotta assume like super tight lips, and then tuba, you're just like like just
Yeah,
going everywhere. It's just
letting it rip in a different
yeah,
way.
yeah, and it. I this is not the same tangent, but I guess it kind of is. It always blew me away when people could do multiple instruments. I'm just like, what? Like, you can jump from a flute to a French horn to a trumpet to the like, what? Like, my brain
Yeah.
can't process that.
Some people are just built differently. It's
Man.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, like last night, kind of the reason why I'm not firing on all six cylinders today is that I went and saw Mulatu Astatke, that
Hmm.
like Ethiopian jazz legend.
Hmm.
He's got to be in his 70s now, but like there were maybe seven people on stage, and I'd say on average, like they were all playing like five different instruments. Like
Dang. Yeah.
it was insane. It was insane. It was so cool, and like I was, yeah, my jaw was on the floor. It was impressive.
And it's still you still haven't picked it up yet. It's still down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Waiting to get it back.
you have not recovered, and I get why. I get it. Um,
Yeah.
but so when you come back, you, you mentioned your beginnings. You do your life thing. You do the music thing. Well, I'm very curious for this new project. You said that it was just kind of a blending of everything that you've done and your bandmates have done and brought it together. Was there ever a question of what are we going to sound like?
Mm. I don't think we ever like we never set out with what kind of influences we were inspired by or what kind of
Mm,
sounds we were into. We really just got together and jammed and let
mm,
it flow.
mm,
And I'm the most recent addition to the band. The other three of them have been playing together
mm,
for quite a while. So they had already had a sound that they had defined in this other band they were in called Day Ghost. And
mm,
then with like COVID, like just the arrangement got all shaken up and they were in need of a bass player and like didn't have a keyboardist anymore. So and they were working on new materials that wasn't quite Day Ghost vibes.
mm,
And I think they were branching a little bit more into the psychedelic um realm.
mm,
And then I came in and I was just like so impressed because like we're just jamming, but they're flowing from verse to chorus to interlude like without even saying anything or even looking at each other. It was just like this feeling. So I think whatever the sound we've created has just really like been channeled through all of us coming together really organically.
mm. And what is the? Yeah, I know you said that you just kind of jam. Is that does that carry over into like the lyrics as well when it's time to write lyrics?
Yeah, totally. I think Nelda the singer will get she'll just kind of let, whatever is going on in her life, whatever is going up in her head and in her heart, and just kind of like whatever comes out and then refining it and working
Mm,
on it from there. Our last album that we just came out with, Grizzly Peak,
mm,
when we were writing it, she was going through a lot of emotional, romantic turmoil,
mm,
aka like, dealing with fuckboys and assholes. And
mm,
so I think that really comes through in the music and like, you know, looking for love, looking for that partnership and kind of just being like put through the ringer. So that really comes out in the lyrics. And, I think as you can hear on the album, like there's a lot, it's a very varied sound. It can
mm.
be ethereal and whimsical and romantic and enchanting, and then it can also be just like, you know, pedal to the metal
Yeah,
rock and roll, like with a little bit more of like a punk angst and a little dark at times. So it really runs the gambit of just the emotional roller coaster that we put ourselves on as single ladies in the Bay.
yeah, yeah. Well, and the like you said, there's no label to it, so it can be anything you want, any kind of feeling. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. I think also like in high school, when I was playing in this, we considered ourselves punk, but looking back, we
Mm.
were definitely more pop punk. And like, the guitarist was just so opinionated. Like, I
Mm.
think one time we were like, let's make a song that sounds like this band Thought Riot or whatever. And he's like, no, like nobody, like, don't ever try to sound like anyone else. Like, just be yourself. And like, I feel like that's like when he like left the band, like shortly
Mm.
after that, I'm like traumatized from trying to sound like anyone else or bring references. I think, but at the same token, like we share music with each other. If we hear a song that we really like, oh, this is so cool. Not in a way of like, oh, let's try to do something similar, but just in like, these people are pushing the boundaries of what contemporary music
Mm.
sounds like.
Mm.
And I think that's good for your ears as a
Yeah,
musician.
yeah. No, absolutely. And I again as a guy in a band, me and my buddy, we used to live on, hey, let's do like a Queens of the Stone Age song. Okay, and go. So I'm all about the references. I think it's always fun to put your own spin on things. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, totally. It's like that's a great starting place to kind
yeah,
of like also find out what your sound is. Like what is the difference between how are you interpreting the Queens of the Stone Age sound and how are you
right.
making Like it's inevitable. You're gonna put your own spin on it, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, well, the part where we just kind of didn't connect, we had a third guy who's like, we need to do Silver Chair song. And
Mm-hmm.
nothing against the band, but it's just like, yeah, that's not really us. So, man, we
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah.
well, totally. I feel like, yeah, I think we all throw out kind of songs we should cover, and we're like, yeah, we'll add it to the list.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not
Just put it
like,
like on the bottom, though. Yeah, just
yeah,
like down
yeah.
there. We'll get to it.
That one, not okay, sure, yeah.
You know what? I didn't bring the tuba. I can't. I with the baritone. We can't do it today. We'll do it next time.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot the tuba again. My bad.
Oh well. Um, so the another question that I love asking, and there's never a right or wrong answer. I'm just very curious, and it'll tell me everything about you. So again, no pressure at all. But to you, what makes a perfect song?
Mm, a perfect song. I think maybe let me like try to reverse engineer this, work backwards
Yeah,
here. But
yeah.
to me, it's like when you just can't stop listening to it, you almost
Mm-hmm.
feel like psychotic that you want to play it again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And those songs for me, when I've heard them, like they vary a lot, but there's something in it where it's like it's just it's I think it's like taking a classic sound, like it's inspired by uh like kind of a genre at the time where it was the best, like it's inspired by the height of like disco in the 70s
Mm-hmm.
or grunge rock in the 90s, but it's reinterpreting it in this new way where you're like there's a familiarity to it, but
Mm-hmm.
then it's also kind of challenging you to be like, oh, this sounds good. And I mean, you got to have a tight, good drum beat,
Mm-hmm.
got to have a thick, heavy bass,
Yeah.
some melodic, reverberating guitar, and some vocals that, are just from from the soul, from the gut, from the heart, and that can get in your brain. I think any perfect song too that you can like put on when you're getting ready to go
Mm.
out,
Yeah.
that's heaven.
Yeah. Like I don't know, a mood song.
Yeah, like your
Okay.
life becomes a montage all of a sudden.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yes. Yeah. I like that. That's good. I
Yeah, you kind of feel like you're in your own movie of life.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. Um and for the people at home who'd like to keep up with you, follow you online, the band, all that good stuff, where can they do all that?
Well, let's see here. Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Freaks, FREQZZZZ. That's four Z's at the end of Freaks.
Mm.
And we're on Bandcamp at Freaks, Spotify. That's about it. You can find me on Instagram at SaltBB. That's SAALT.BB. And yeah, we've got Grizzly Peak out now everywhere you listen to music, and we've definitely got some more stuff in the works.
And more baritone tuba coming soon. So just kind of everybody wait for it. Wait.
Yeah. And when it's here, you'll know.
Yes, yes, yeah. You'll know. I don't know if people camp out for music, but they're gonna want to camp out for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Baritone for hire too. Hit me
Yeah,
up.
yes. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. It was so much fun. Anytime you want to come back and I don't know, reminisce about low brass days, I'm always happy to do so.
Yeah, wonderful. That sounds great. We can have a support group for each
Yeah.
other.
Oh my gosh. Yes. People who didn't want to be a low brass player, but ended up doing it because, whatever. That's a horrible podcast name, but I'm all for it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I feel like there's going to be so many stories that people have of being forced or how they found themselves playing low brass. And then the one guy that actually like was really called to
Yeah,
it.
he's like, I hate this podcast because it's a mockery of everything that I love. Like, I don't know why we're having you as a guest, but I guess we need, both play both sides of the field. I don't know.
Both sides.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
Well, you have a wonderful day and keep staying safe and healthy. All right.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Chris. It was great talking to you.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.